And this video here, I'm trying to do new things because 2018 new waves. We're here outside in the fucking cold. Long Island, New York. It's just cold out here. And the topic of this video, which I've been working on for a long time, is about depression. And it took me a long time to make because I have like four other drafts of the same thing where I talk about the reason why depression is on the rise. Because if you're my age, I'm 19. Everyone from the ages 17 to 25 knows someone who's depressed. You've heard it being sung about, you've seen tweets about it. It's in the music, the new genre, the new wave of music. We can agree that hip hop is the new rock and roll, right? Well, the new genre, the new punk, is emo depressing rap.
You got nothing left to give. You'll find another life to live.
No, you got me just going up bad. Love's crazy, you got me reset.
And if the world ever has an apocalypse, I will kill all of you fuckers. Fear will be plentiful, death will be bountiful. I will spare none of you peasants.
If you're over 25, maybe you don't know, but there's dudes like Lil Uzi Vert, Trippie Redd, fucking XXXTentacion, screaming, rapping with their dreads about death, breakups. Always the half-open, like, drugged-out face. Like, right, you remember the guys, like, back in 2007, yo, this car's so loud as shit, bro. Get out of my fucking... Handicapped, too. Gotta be handicapped. All right. Physically challenged, not handicapped. Okay. Not everyone is depressed. There's no way that so much of a generation is clinically depressed. To me, that's not possible. So either a lot of people are doing it to be cool because it's marketable as fuck. Like if this makes a comeback when rap Push Me to the Edge, All My Friends Are Dead, if that can hit #1, then there's something going on. It's scary how popular this is. But it can't just be that everybody is feeling the same exact symptoms. There's no way that everyone here is clinically depressed. People spend 9 hours a day on their phones. People spend 5 hours laying on their side. Binge watching, man. Everyone binge watches, which is a symptom of depression. Like honestly, if you 10 years ago, you said someone was gonna lay down here on their side, on their bed, watching their laptop like this, eating junk food. It's like, are you okay? Is something wrong with you? You need to speak to someone? It's so big at this point that it's marketable. Depression is so big for people my age, 17 to 25, that it's selling. And originally my thesis was that it's because everyone's fucking addicted to their phones. It's all day long staring like this, you know? Social media, constant updates. Studies have shown that getting an Instagram like releases a little bit of dopamine in your brain. And so the rest of the world, the shit outside, being in the cold, being near trees and shit, all this weird stuff, is not as exciting. The rest of the world is dull compared to what it is online. And so kids are getting depressed. Like, honestly, the rest of the world is not as stimulating. And that was my thesis, that was my reasoning, is that teens are like on their phones for 9 hours a day now, on average. Teenagers in the United States on their phone for 9 hours. And they feel symptoms of depression. They're in a situation where you can fix some of your problems, and not all of them are related to depression. There's no way that everything wrong with you is a symptom of depression. I've been depressed. Like, I've been going through my own shit. I mean, you saw my last video. It's all about lifting. It's all about confidence. It's been about 2 years since I lifted a barbell, and I made some decent progress. I can deadlift some decent weight now. Look at this. Come on. I broke my elbow. I don't know if you can see this big ass cast floating through my elbow. Can you? Hold on, let me put this shit down. I'm an egotistical person. I rely on my confidence to get by, and when my confidence goes away because I can't be in the gym, I was depressed. Like, I'd be laying in bed all break. We had a month-long break in college. Shit's too long. I ruptured my tricep tendon and broke my elbow. I could have taken the Percocets that they gave me for my surgery. I could have wallowed in my pain. I could have wallowed in my sorrow. I decided that I wasn't gonna wallow in my pain. I'm gonna go to the gym anyway. I'm gonna do fucking legs and abs. I'm gonna work around this, is what I thought. Because someone like me, I think all the time that there's probably something wrong with me. There's always some nagging thoughts in my brain. Maybe there's something. I try to ignore it. It's easy now to wallow in the self-pity. It's easy now to wallow in sadness. I've been there. And for people like me, it's not depression. It's not. I'm not a depressed person. I'm overall not a sad person. I could if I wanted to, because we're at the point where it's normalized by music, it's normalized by our society. Don't lie there for 5 hours on your side watching Netflix. Don't just lay there and get drunk and stoned all day. Right? Don't see a car and think about jumping in front, you know? You stay positive. Because a lot of you out there, you're not depressed. You really do need to get over it.
Loneliness. Another pandemic that's basically COVID on steroids. What's been going on for a very, 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 very long time. And it has been gone more rampant. It has gone more metastatic. It has gotten much more aggressive ever since the technology has evolved, ever since AI has gotten into the picture, social media, literally the whole 9 yards. You know, this is something that actually literally dig into, ladies and gentlemen.
Walking clubs are taking off, and it's not just the exercise.
You're connecting with someone, which is something that I was kind of missing.
More and more people are missing that connection and are feeling lonely.
The pandemic poured fuel on a fire that was already burning.
Dr. Vivek Murthy, the U.S. Surgeon General, says loneliness is an epidemic, the focus of an 80-page advisory he is releasing today.
We're used to thinking about smoking and obesity as clear public health concerns.
So you're saying loneliness is comparable to smoking in terms of the detriment to your health?
Yeah, in terms of the risk that it poses for premature death, yes.
Half of U.S. adults experience measurable loneliness, and it's greater among young adults.
When you struggle with loneliness, when you're socially disconnected, it increases your risk of depression and anxiety and suicide, but it also increases your risk of physical illness as well.
Loneliness increases the risk for heart disease, stroke, and among older adults, dementia. The cure, Dr. Murthy says, is not only personal change, but societal change as well.
What we need to do is actually rebuild social infrastructure in our country.
You're talking about changing the social fabric. That's been decades in the making.
It's been decades in the making, but it's also something that I'm confident that we can address if we put our mind to it and if we act together.
Among his recommendations, a focus on community organizations, mobilizing the health sector to raise awareness, and reconsidering how we use technology.
In-person matters. Connecting online has its place, has its value, but it's not a substitute for in-person connection. We really do need both.
Cultivating and supporting time together, face to face, because our health depends on it. Stephanie Gosk, NBC News.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Nerd Chronicles with your host, the socially awkward nerd Christian Paul up in the building. And ladies and gentlemen, we are literally dealing with loneliness, depression, coming at an all-time high. And yes, you see mainly more common within men, but it's not just a men issue. There's women actually going through that stuff as well, even though they're actually mainly more okay about it. And even though they mainly roll with a pack, whether it's like friends, acquaintances, everything else, you see less often with women than men, but it's still a pandemic in itself. But the people that actually just struggle the most in regards to this is mainly men, right? As I actually come by and actually go through some shopping, basically for my mother, who's actually about to turn 62 very soon. I want to try and give a little bit of a moment on how loneliness can actually impact your mental health, not just your mental health, but also your physical health. You know what I'm saying? It could really get you in the mood. It could really impact stress levels. It can really intensify stress levels if you're not careful. It can literally cause a lot of internal stuff to your health. It can definitely raise high blood pressure. Your blood sugar could be regulated, all these things. Depression can literally be like a subtle storm. You could definitely literally be at risk of passing away due to maybe some guilt or depression. It could be like a very serious things. You could really be low-key out of whack just because you're actually lonely and everything else. And we're seeing it more and more often, especially with like texting going on, right? And then people just going out and literally just talking to people discreetly. It's like a whole crazy trend in itself. And I have this video, ladies and gentlemen, I'm really going to show you later this weekend that we're going to review about on how loneliness and depression is literally so detrimental to your health. And I will give you guys some steps on literally how to handle these types of things and what you can do to actually try to up your mental health, which is definitely the most important thing, as well as your physical health also. And it's definitely not spending all your hard-earned money up in these discount stores trying to make you feel good. just to please people that really don't give two hoots about you. Okay? That's definitely not what really this is about. So let me go and do my little shopping here, and I'm gonna go be back at the computer doing some reviews on this little old deal that we got going on. Well, ladies and gentlemen, now that I just literally got back from shopping on the outdoors, now let's talk about a very deep video that's basically just deep with loneliness as well as depression. And I basically watched this video basically a few times and actually got a feel of it. So what we're going to do, ladies and gentlemen, is we are going to actually just break it down into probably 3 parts, maybe more, because there's definitely loneliness, definitely when folks they're actually just young and basic career driven, have their own jobs, live by themselves, have their own place. There's one aspect right there. Another aspect is, when you're elderly, you're seeking new friends, God forbid you lost loved ones, basically you became an early nester, your kids moved out, and there's definitely loneliness around that sector. So you definitely actually move up when like people of your age group, actually try and keep yourself calm and keep yourself comforting for your mental health. That's the other second angle that we're going to discuss. And the third is, you got a wife, you got a spouse, you got a husband, you got kids, but you move to a new location. Anywhere you like move to a new location, there can still be loneliness there. It can still be overwhelming when you're in a new place. You don't know the whole terrain. You don't even know what's really going to go on. You feel drained and ejected from all the duties you got to be dealing with, from working full time to raising kids, to actually taking care of your spouse, trying to actually learn a new field and everything. You don't even know like the training environment that you're mainly going to have, and all the other stuff that mainly came about, and that we're also going to discuss as well. So loneliness can literally happen to anyone at any given time, irrespective of status, for any reason at all. And take it from a person that actually deals with anxiety and depression. I can definitely confidently actually tell you what I'm talking about. Alright, so ladies and gentlemen, what we have here is a clip from ABC News. Basically deals with the loneliness pandemic, basically of the country. We're just mainly focusing on the nationwide epidemic up in the United States, in which, there's like a growth of loneliness and depression amongst people, especially going on within technology and within the social media world. We're going to break this down into 4 parts based on location. So we have a gentleman that's coming by from the DMV area, specifically in Bethesda. We have a young lady that's coming by in New York City that's actually adjusting new life up in the city, going to a social event. We have a young gentleman that actually founded a social club in Phoenix, where he recently moved at the time. And we have an elderly woman hailing that resides up in the UK in London, that has her get together with her group, and they have like living in bowls within them. And we're going to be discussing about each of the 4 situations that we mainly have given those 4. So we're going to be focusing first with this young gentleman here up in the DMV area and seeing what we have going on, given with his situation. So let's get this guy rolling in a bit. So let me do a few things, get him on full screen. Just bear with me 1 second as I actually try to go through what he's actually dealing with. Hang on. All right, let's get it rolling. 1 second.
Are you comfortable?
Yes, I'm honestly trying to fight falling asleep instantly.
And if you fall asleep, do you want me to wake you up?
Yes.
Okay.
Jasmine Simone works as a professional cuddler, using the power of platonic touch therapy to help adults struggling with issues from intimacy to anxiety to loneliness.
Where are we right now? We're sitting on a bed right now.
This is my day bed, and this is what we use when people want to actually engage and touch. We can touch, and we don't need to be romantically involved, and it's still a really beautiful thing.
Jasmine is on the front lines of helping the growing number of people grappling with loneliness. According to a new Gallup report, about 20% of American adults report feeling daily loneliness, the highest level in 2 years.
And unfortunately, with loneliness, which could be a very, very complex thing, loneliness, if untreated, if you don't know as you figure out a way to actually how to treat your situation, it could lead you into depression, which could be very, very complex to really get yourself in. Actually, not get yourself in. It can be very easy to get yourself in. I misspoke. But it is very, very, very complex situation to solve. But you have to definitely get that solved within yourself. You know what I mean? Just to make sure that at least the whole situation is literally very mitigated. As we all know, loneliness can mainly happen to anyone, anywhere, anytime.
The nation's Surgeon General even saying we're in the midst of a loneliness epidemic. And chronic loneliness can impact more than just your mental health. It comes with a physical toll too.
It can do everything from increase rates of high blood pressure, heart disease, increase rates of dementia, and actually decrease how long we live. It's as risky for health as, smoking 15 cigarettes a day.
Things that have fueled this feeling of disconnection, the pandemic, working remotely, even our...
Yeah, remote jobs are actually one of the coolest jobs to be in if you actually feel like you're in the bubble. But if you don't really have any strength to actually meet them in person, or if you're not actually feel too anxious to meet people, it can literally get you in a wreck, definitely in the long term. So to actually handle some jobs like this, once you're done with remote work and once you're free, get yourself involved in social groups, get yourself involved in networking, get yourself up out the house, and make the effort to mainly talk to people. That'll be a good start to actually try to curb some of the loneliness that you may have, and also have to actually practice your social skills and also practice subtle cues with people to see what their mindset really is at the end of the day.
Ironically, technology.
Social connection over the last 2 decades has really changed, and our society in many ways. And technology can be a positive and a negative. It really depends on how you use the tool.
Now from sounding the alarm to finding connection.
How much did you feel like you needed to relearn how to just be a friend?
Now, this gentleman here is hailing from the Phoenix area, and I'm actually going to dig into his situation, actually incorporate some of the stuff that, a lot of men actually mainly dealing with, that I actually stated earlier, because men actually endure a lot more loneliness more so often than women based on statistics. And we're going to actually dig very, very deep up in one of the parts that's literally later on up in this video to see what we can actually try to do to actually try to mitigate a situation. As we all know, it's not a one-size-fits-all thing. So let me continue with the video.
We're on the ground examining the unique ways people are finding comfort.
So how does one actually go about becoming a professional cuddler?
Happy birthday to you.
And community.
Happy birthday to us.
Elliot Wallace has been having cuddle therapy sessions with Jasmine for a year.
Is loneliness something you deal with?
Yeah, I work a lot from home. Yeah, definitely loneliness is a bit of an issue. Yeah,
Does the touch therapy help with addressing that?
Yeah, I found myself being nervous in certain cases, whether people were very close, like moving in too close or taking up my space, or even being touched. And I wanted to find a way to not have that threatening anymore.
Jasmine says there are clear boundaries and consent with her patients.
So how does it work for you? When someone walks through the doors, what do you do?
I first do a consultation. I want to know what piqued their interest about touch and cuddle therapy. I want to know what their touch history is. There's clear understanding of having agency over your body in the session. At no point am I going to touch you in a way that you're not comfortable with, or that you're not curious about, and vice versa. So the boundaries are rigid boundaries. There's no touching anywhere bathing suit covers.
Seeing a professional cuddler isn't for everyone. Experts warn that if cuddle therapy ends abruptly, there can be feelings of abandonment, rejection, loss, and even despair. Jasmine acknowledges that while her job may sound strange to some, she says she has seen how her work has helped people like Elliot.
It gives me the idea of who I am and to be more open and vulnerable with people.
When you look at the data, boys are less likely to.
And I want to give a huge shout out to Elliot, because I'm very happy that he's able to find something that definitely works for him. I'm gonna definitely look further into cuddling therapy, definitely when the next clip involved, before we actually get back up into the video, to actually see how it works, or see if your insurance will actually try to cover this type of visit depending on your situation, because it looks like this is somebody who's actually very isolated, who's extremely introverted, who's a bit antisocial, that definitely needs to go out in the world more, and really makes you have to actually try to speak with people, and also definitely needs to try to network with people. And I do believe that he is on the right track to actually get into that. He just got to have some more confidence with himself to actually mainly do some more further things. This to make sure that he's like more comfortable interacting with people up in the real world in person. But it's a good start, though.
Report close friendships compared to girls. That seems to continue throughout the lifespan, and that hasn't always been acceptable for men to talk openly about their feelings.
Because it's very much real, because a lot of other dudes, a lot of fellow dudes, they try and label other people as weak, label people as cowardice, and what makes it worse, you got folks really up in the manosphere and all these pseudo red pill gurus out there actually trying to mean men the one actually trying to seek therapy just because they're lonely or just because they're depressed. They're actually trying to solve a problem. You know what I mean? And that's the thing that just really, really frustrates me the most. And I'm going to get into it literally later on in this video. Let's dig more into couples therapy, shall we? All right, so we have a article coming from verywellmind.com that deals with cuddle therapy. I'm not gonna actually try to read too much actually up into the article, since we already actually watched some of that stuff up in the video. So they want like long comforting terms that you get from relationship, best friend, wife, spouse, basically significant other or partner, however it is. So you get the feel of it without further intimacy or intercourse and all these things. So basically, it's the professional service that provides people with a safe space to enjoy non-sexual physical touch, in which it is an opportunity for people to get their regular intake of human touch and feel, which is safe and consensual, where you can experience the warmth and reassurance of a warm hug for as long as you want or need. Professional cuddling is a therapy proven to relieve stress and anxiety while boosting your mood and self-esteem. So yes, they have real professional cuddlers. It's actually a real job that's there. They offer different forms of physical touch, holding, hugging, hand holding, and as long as you hold you and your cuddler, your body releases oxytocin, the bonding hormone linked to the emotions and well-being. Now, for many dealing with touch separation, isolation, attachment issues, or simply lack of affection in their life, the cuddling encounters can be incredibly healing, in which they create a safe, consented space for clients to experience human warmth and bonding in a non-sexual way. And they basically discuss the clear boundaries up in the video, and everything else depends on what the patient wants or needs. That's already discussed up in there. And we have a therapist that actually explains it's a powerful tool to release negative emotions held within the body. And they discuss the powerful benefits of oxytocin that basically relieves stress and anxiety. And physical touch definitely triggers it. When oxytocin courses through your body, your cortisol, hormone responsible for physical symptoms, stress like weight gain, fatigue levels mainly drop. Not only does oxytocin keep you calm, but also soothes you. More oxytocin in your body, the better your body feels. Chronic pain comes in, oxytocin adds to natural pain relief. When it's getting a regular dose of cuddles and affection is key to maintain increasing the oxytocin up in your body. And the more oxytocin you have, the better your physical health will be. You feel more content, happier, confronted, and relaxed against some cuddles in with the emotional well-being. They basically actually just give you a spike up in that. Mental health wise, it may look a lot different into this whole talk therapy, but it's proven to be an effective form of treatment for mental health conditions, which can ease many troubling symptoms of anxiety and depression. And regular sense can also improve your social skills. Nurturing touch can for some alleviate depression, and does for some people alleviate depression, anxiety, PTSD symptoms, while reinforcing a sense of self-worth and security. For older people, disabled, simply those starved for platonic intimacy, it does provide profound comfort, and over time, positive touch experiences can help you become more emotionally resilient, making it easier to handle challenges and setbacks. And now, professional cuddling is so much more than a warm hug. It's a therapy for self-care that improves physical, emotional, and mental health. Now, based on what they're saying, professional cuddling is mainly for anyone who wants to be platonic, nurturing touch in a safe, controlled environment. For those that have chronic stress or anxiety, for those struggling with loneliness, depression, social anxiety, that actually afraid to literally talk with people in person, alone, it could be like a huge issue with like basically a huge boost for that. For those who want to actually speak the cuddle therapy route, that's for those who are literally to the extreme. That those are actually just very extremely shy, extremely antisocial, and definitely is very appealing to those who are on the asexual spectrum and like to access meaningful touch without the pressure of a sexual romantic relationship, right? And older and disabled individuals tend to be lonelier than the general population, can benefit from cuddle therapy, right? It can range for people of all ages, and basically no mandatory certification required to become a professional cuddler, but definitely is advised to go through some training. LCSW, licensed clinical social worker, recommends specialized training programs that cover topics like consent, boundaries, communication, and ethics of touch before being a professional cuddler. Though not legally required by state, having these certifications helps you understand and manage the emotional and physical needs of your clients. All right. And this is all the stuff they have for those who actually want to do professional cuddling. Now, to find a professional cuddler, you just got to do some research. They got profiles or websites, and payment-wise, more than likely it's going to be out of pocket. But if they do allow insurance payments that may cover with it, definitely speak with that particular professional cuddler if you want to actually look more further into that. You know what I'm saying? Again, this is not a one-size-fits-all, because everyone, whether it's a man or a woman, has individual needs they definitely need to fill, but at least it could be one option. It could be more so of a lesser option for those who are extremely antisocial, that those are actually afraid to actually come out in the world due to very deep high stress or high trauma. All right, ladies and gentlemen, now let's dig more into another section in this news article. We focus more on a young woman in her early 20s that just moved into New York City, that actually want to try and learn how to meet friends, that doesn't really know fully about the NYC territory at all. And this gives you like another outlook for definitely women that actually want to try and meet more friends and actually want to actually try and curb their mental health that way, which is also another great option, which I always suggest to everyone that's there. Your best way to counter stuff like that is always to network, whether it's for jobs, whether it's for personal, whether it's for like your social life. You know, definitely network with other people that actually try to improve your social skills and get to know people in like a much more deeper approach. So we're going to actually deal with it from like the female standpoint on how networking and meeting new people can definitely be beneficial for your mental health.
22-year-old Kari Hostler is hoping to find a spark with someone, a connection.
I am very nervous, but I'm also excited.
Fresh out of college.
It takes like a lot of energy to go and talk to people that you don't know.
Agreed.
You just kind of like socialize. It's like kind of like speed dating.
But Kari isn't looking for love and romance. She's looking for friends.
You need platonic relationships in addition to romantic relationships. It's important, I think, for just like your well-being and your mental health. Humans are social creatures.
Searching for ways to branch.
Yeah, I appreciate this young lady, this young woman, for having the strength to actually mainly go out up in the world and mainly talk to people. I really, really commend her for doing that.
Out. She went online and stumbled upon the Girls NYC.
The Girls is an exclusive social group for women looking to make friends in their early 20s in New York City.
Our mission is just to empower women to make intentional friendships and provide a space for them to do so.
Leah Selden and Carlin Kelly run this group. The duo, meeting 2 years ago at one of these mixers, they're now hosting together. One rule when it comes to attending these events: you have to come alone.
It's nice because it levels the playing field and sense of vulnerability. It pushes you out of your comfort zone.
Like the Girls, similar groups catering to finding connection are on the rise, like dinner parties, even running clubs.
We spend so much time online, like we end up isolating ourselves, and it's just.
And that's the issue, man. We spend ourselves literally get stuck too much up in the online world. And there's nothing wrong with actually building stuff online and building the following. There's nothing wrong with that. But you still need to actually be outside, literally talking to people up in the real world. And also, with the online stuff, you just got to be careful on what you post as well. You can't be reckless on what you post, and you can't be demeaning people. Otherwise, that type of stuff, whenever they find you online, can literally spread up to you up in the real world, and you're literally doomed. And it can get you in like a huge, deep depression, mainly down the line, if you're not careful. So yes, you need to have a balance when it comes to this. You can't be up on the computer mainly all day, getting yourself stuck and literally doing none, whether it's like work or video games. You gotta spend some of that stuff outside as well.
It's not a substitute for actual human interaction.
For Kara, her digital and social life go hand in hand, and she's not alone. Across social media, people can game with one another across continents. Get Ready With Me videos can make you feel connected to your favorite influencer.
Especially when you're up on Instagram Live, TikTok Live, or even YouTube Live.
And there's dating apps and even friend apps. But making true friendships can be...
True friendships, building up it in person. That's what you really need at the end of the day. That's what you really need. This is the main goal. Right there.
tough, especially when you've recently moved to a city of 8 million people, like Kari.
When I see like groups of girls like sitting at the park, I'm like, oh, that looks so cute. Like I would love to like be sitting in like a big group.
Leading experts like the Surgeon General have declared Kari's generation, Gen Z, perhaps the loneliest generation.
Gen Z has had it tough. They didn't have a traditional graduation from high school. They have also been part of this great experiment of social media. We are learning without guardrails.
All right, now I'm going to ask you to stop there. We're going to go up into the next clip. All right. And we're going to talk about that third gentleman that actually formed his own social group up in Phoenix, Arizona. All right, let's go dig more into the gentleman from Phoenix and get into his story.
Like Kari, 38-year-old Quincy Winston struggled to find new friends after moving to Phoenix with his wife LaToya in 2015.
And also, even if you have a loved one, even if you got kids of your own, which definitely take up so much time of your day in addition to the 9 to 5 that you have, or whatever job you have, these type of things can literally drain you. God forbid you get into like a massive argument. These types of things can literally drain you down the line and can really get you into the point of loneliness and depression as well. Or when things don't go well, when you literally bog with so much stuff during the day, or if you've moved to a new location in Phoenix, whether it's LA or Vegas or any unknown location that you're unaware of, that you don't know the environment of, you know, especially when it comes to, forgive me if I'm actually being racist standpoint, depending on your environment, on where you're going, you know, because black men actually get it the hardest literally up in the world. You know what I'm saying? Black men are mainly like the most disrespected literally up in global society. So you get all these unnecessary pressures due to other people's insecurities, due to their fear of you reaching your best potential. You got all these things. You got people mainly raining down and using you, using the black man, spinning them out. All that stuff can literally factor him feeling lonely and depressed as well. All these factors that mainly come in. And as I said before, it's not a one-size-fits-all thing. And in his case, it's a very unique circumstance, definitely as well. You know, it doesn't give you immune. It doesn't have you immune from loneliness whatsoever. You know what I'm saying? And we're going to literally dig further up into his story. I'm actually going to continue literally proving my point mainly down the line. Not to try and dominate any arguments, but I'm actually going to try and dig further detail into what I'm explaining.
No one wants to be alone out there. I mean, things are different when you're with your guys, right? You out by yourself, you know. But when you got 10, 15 of your guys with you, I mean, it's a little bit, you know, different.
You can experience loneliness at any point in your life. You can
Facts.
be surrounded by a beautiful home, by a loving wife or partner and kids, and still feel disconnected.
And I'm also actually going to give you some stuff when it comes to the pseudo-red pill rhetoric that I also want to discuss with. Because a lot of people up in the pseudo-red pill community saying, oh, depression doesn't exist, loneliness shouldn't exist, you should learn how to walk alone and try to build this money. Once you build this money with a high-paying job, it's automatic. You get women literally kissing your feet and literally sucking your cock.
Do you believe depression is not real?
Depression isn't real, no. And the bigger point is, even if it is real, just like racism, it's better to not believe
There's
it's
the
real.
quote.
It's
Even
better
if-
to not
even
believe
if-
that it's controlling you.
So hold on. A 20-year-old man loses his mother to cancer, his depression is not real, you Andrew Tate faggot?
Of course, sadness is real, but it is better to continue to push forward rather than wallow in your sadness and believe you're depressed. It's better to believe you're not depressed, even if you are. That will have a stronger mindset and give you a better life, to not wallow in sadness and to continue to push forward and not have suicidal thoughts.
Your gay ass faggot Andrew Tate way has not been recited for thousands of years like Nick's way. It's useless.
Okay.
No
Sure.
fucking
I understand.
hustlers. You know, there's not one.
I agree with you that he's not really hustling. That's not what I'm talking about.
Andrew Tate is, as far as I'm concerned, Andrew Tate is reality TV.
I say, listen, you get to roll out, be fat, be out of shape, be broke, be unimportant with no girlfriend. And instead of the world thinking you're a loser, you get to say, I'm not a loser, I'm depressed. It's a shield. And I say, that's why you don't want to lose your shield. Because now you have accountability, now you have performance. It's a cop out. It off. I don't give a shit if it's real or not. We're not about that. We're talking about success here. Get rid of your excuses, stop defending the thing that's ruined your life, and get to work. Every time anyone has ever listened to me in history, ever, every single one of them's transformed their lives and messaged me positive messages afterwards. Every single time. That's why I'm antidepressant. Because that pill ain't gonna fix you the way becoming the man you wish you were is gonna fix you. It's crazy. And then they're gonna take one little soundbite. Tate doesn't care about mental health. He thinks depressed people is some bullshit. And they're gonna apply it to me. I really do believe, and I state this almost with a degree of achievement, I'm the most misunderstood man on the planet.
But the reality is, and we don't talk about this enough, the reason why so many men are depressed, right? People might get mad at me for saying this. Depression a lot of times is a byproduct of your inadequacies and you being incompetent, right? As a man, you're put on earth to go out and create something, okay? A man's legacy and name is typically tied to what he did while he was alive, right? And when you get a birthday and you get a death date, and in between on your tombstone there's that dash. What the hell did you do during that dash? Did you create a name for yourself, or is no one going to remember you? And the reality is, most of you are going to die. Nobody's going to give a fuck who you are. But what I'm going to say is, can you die today and be happy with what you've created? Will people remember you? Will people respect you? Will people say good things about you when you die? And the reality is, for most of you guys watching right now, the answer is probably no. But we need to turn that into a yes, okay? And when I tell people that, then that's when they snap back into reality and say, damn, I really haven't accomplished anything. And what people don't get is that as a man, your whole value comes from creating something. So if you don't create anything, a byproduct of that is, I'm sad, I'm depressed, I don't know where I am in life. That's because reality is smacking you in the face with sadness, telling you you're inadequate. Go out there and do something. What the hell are you doing here? Whacking off to porn. What the hell are you doing over here? Eating yourself into depression. What the hell are you doing over here? Playing video games all day. You're not doing anything, which is why you feel sad. You feel sad because you haven't created anything. The whole world that we're in nowadays, all these inventions, etc., it was created by men to overcome being sad. You must create something as a man to be happy. Women don't have to worry about that. Women, their pleasure comes from creating a family, right? But they're not going to want to create a family with you if you're a loser. That's just not how it goes. So a lot of times when guys are sad, it's not because I'm depressed, I'm sad, I have this mental disorder. No, you're a fucking bitch. That's what it comes down to. But we don't want to tell people this in the West. We want to make them feel better, consolidate, go to therapy, blah, 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 blah. You know what? You want some therapy? Go to the fucking gym, okay? Make some goddamn money, become more attractive, take care of yourself. I promise you, you're gonna feel a lot better than sitting here on a fucking couch with some loser. Tell me about your problems. Well, I don't know, I feel like this. But shut the fuck up. You feel that way because it's a byproduct of you being a loser. It's your masculinity reminding you, what are you doing? Are we gonna have, is this dash gonna be something? Are people gonna be able to respect us at our funeral? Are people gonna speak about us? Is anyone gonna give a fuck if I die? And the reality is, for most people watching this, no one will give a fuck if you die. So you need to make it where people will care and they will have something good to say about you, and you create some kind of impact. Can you die tomorrow and be happy? And for most people, that's a no.
Yeah.
You need to make it a yes.
Damn, that was deep, low key.
You know what I'm saying? Letting you bust nuts all over the place, keeping you drained. Okay? And I'm here to tell you that it's not fully the case. Even if you had a bunch of knots counts, okay? Having multiple women up in your vicinity, bagging them all at once, having threesomes, foursomes, fivesomes, whatever it is, okay? It still doesn't have you immune from loneliness, okay? Because the trauma can mainly be there. You have to actually address that type of stuff within. and what you need to do, and definitely seek a mental health therapist or even a psychiatrist actually trying to help you, at least give you a strategy on how that you can go about it in a proper way. You know what I'm saying? And say you actually follow a pseudo red pill guy's content and everything else based on his views to actually get to the life that you want, supposedly, and actually how to get women, and trying to utilize Myron's method or David Cooley's method, Don Fishart's method, or even Andrew Tate's method. And God forbid it doesn't work in the real world. You know, now the frustration mainly sets in. Folks mainly go turn black pill. They literally start further losing their minds rather than actually going to the appropriate channels. They actually go turn to black pill. And as they said it, God forbid, you know, they end up unaliving themselves or go through self-deletion. As a result, those red pill theories, unfortunately, not working.
Over here trying to judge the guys that call into the show that say that they got. Nah, mute this guy's mic. Yo, you're over here trying to judge the guys that call into the show that improve their life, that improve their credit score. You're trying to sit there and talk shit about them. You don't even want to fucking talk about yourself.
Yep, can't.
You fucking. You're over here trying to talk shit about the guys that come in and watch this shit and actually improve their life, take it out their fucking mouth. What do you got to say about all the guys that we kept from committing?
You got those red pill gurus out here saying, oh, we are the best people that mainly prevent dudes from suicide, but in certain cases, when things don't work, when you don't do things in practical matter, you can have more and more men literally more at risk of self-deletion, given the rhetoric that they push. But, however, maybe these serial gurus won't fully take accountability for the stuff they did and did, because they are here to push a narrative at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? Which is saying the same. They are not really fully out here to help men at all. They're mainly here to grift and make a profit. Which is why I want to try and let y'all know, as I've stated many times before, vet your gurus very thoroughly. Now, let me try and make sure I actually steer myself from our topic, because this is going to be a wonderful story and how he was able to actually combat the loneliness aspect with the help from his wife. So let's go further dig into his story.
A heart-to-heart conversation with his wife sparked an idea in Quincy.
Tell me a little bit about that moment when you first went to your wife and you're like, yo, I'm actually kind of struggling to make some friends now.
And I kind of realized something was off. You know, her and her girlfriends, very organized, very tight-knit, and a lot of my friends at the time were distant. My wife was just encourage me to say, hey, you know, well, if you can't find one, make one. Because it's important for men to seek out friendship and build camaraderie.
Quincy.
And to actually combat it, there's ways to actually do it. You can definitely do it through social clubs. You can definitely do it to public places. You can definitely do it through bars and restaurants. That'll be other ways to do it. You can do it through clubs. You can do it through fitness centers or fitness clubs. Just go work with people. Go learn how to meet with people and learn how to meet and actually try to learn, which is one of the biggest things. Network. Whether it's for a job, whether it's for job opportunities, or whether it's for personal or social opportunities. And it's very important to network, because you never know where all those opportunities are mainly taking you in life. But all you have to do is just mainly try and just go out and mainly speak with people. Go out and be confident with yourself and get more further comfortable literally trying to speak with folks and try and learn and understand their environment. And try and figure out ways how you can actually try and find ways to see if you can be of use to actually try and improve their well-being and vice versa.
Did just that. In 2022, forming the Professional Black Men's Friends Group. Space for men to meet up locally and find new friends.
What made it so hard for men to connect that you noticed?
I think there's a term out there, emotional intelligence. Guys, we have to work at that. What do I need to do in order to be a friend and make friends and have friends and keep friends?
Quincy's group now.
Oh wow, they got like some more groups. I want to try and go back a little bit. Bear me 1 second. It's getting a little bit cold up in here. Give me 1 moment. Yeah, it's getting a little bit cold. Pardon me. So yes, this definitely is very, very, very important to really trying to form these friendships.
Emotional
You
intelligence.
never know when all
Guys,
these things
we have
can
to
mainly
work
take
at
you.
that. What do I need to do in order to be a friend and make friends and have friends and keep friends?
Quincy's group.
Yeah, look at it, Larson. It's starting to expand. People starting to build and get together with one another, which is very, very, very huge.
Now is nearly 200 members.
For me, it's been self-discovery. It's been a journey. I thank my wife every day for kind of opening up about my own emotions.
Amen. And side note, these pseudo red pill gurus talking about, oh, don't get married and all this stuff, but his wife, man, has been by his rock and through thick and thin. And I want to give a shout out to his wife as well for actually trying to keep him on that loop and actually help elevate his life, especially with situations like this. She's the hero right there.
And encouraging other men to support other men.
Absolutely. Now, let's go focus more on to the last part when it comes with loneliness. All right, let's go dig into networking from an elderly standpoint, especially with definitely elderly women or elderly men. But we're going to focus on the elderly side of things coming from the United Kingdom.
From men supporting men to women supporting women.
I'm sure lots of people sit around having dinner at a certain age and they think, maybe sometimes they think, oh, wouldn't it be great if we all lived together?
At the New Ground Estate in London, these 26 residents are making history, living at the first and only co-housing community in the United Kingdom. Dedicated to women aged 50 and over.
Inevitably, as you get old, you feel less safe in the world. And I think here you feel safe.
Jude Tisdall is 73 years old.
Wow.
She moved into New Ground in 2018.
I have been married, I have traveled. It was that point
So basically, it's primarily that New Ground co-housing is primarily for single elderly women, right? And basically what we're saying, we don't know about Miss Tisdall's situation. We don't know if she's divorced or she's widowed. We don't know. But as of now, she's basically living alone, definitely living a life with other women, elderly women, up in the co-housing, which is actually a wonderful thing.
I hit my mid-60s and I thought I really want to be conscious about how I want to live moving forward.
Everyone has their own.
And also, we don't know if that woman has children as well. That part we don't know for sure. But, it's definitely a wonderful thing where they have women, basically when they own ages, elderly, that's actually be able to actually view other points. And they'll be able to express opinions and viewpoints towards each other, just actually release the oxytocin. It's a huge, huge, wonderful feeling.
Flats. But there are also communal living spaces, all run by the ladies themselves. How does it work?
Okay.
We say that we don't look after each other, but we watch out for each other. We had to learn how to balance privacy and community.
Some have likened it to a real-life version
of the Golden Girls right there.
Of the Golden Girls.
And, the Golden Girls story, you see like 3 elderly women that haven't had any kids at all, never gave birth. They actually just basically just living alone, doing a lifestyle. Some of the Golden Girls and husbands have tragically passed away, unfortunately, and that's how they're in that situation. It's a classic show, by the way. It really is a classic show. I ain't gonna lie.
I'll go. She's very brave. Boy, I'll say.
R.I.P. Betty White.
As a Golden Girls model of health, it is really beneficial because there's that sense of community. Having a friend by your side during challenging times is always helpful. And I think it can also reframe how we think about aging.
Across Europe and the globe, co-housing has become increasingly popular, with around 2,000 communities worldwide.
Has this opened a new light to you?
There's a few people here like that of a certain age and are inspirational and are fit and still active and doing things. I think what has made me really, really think about is I'm going to live to the nth degree till I die, and that's what I'm going to do.
Sage advice for us all to live by.
Amen. Amen. What a story. What a story. What a story. All right, so what is the moral of the story? The moral of the story is basically this. If you feel loneliness for any time, any given reason, it's it's very cut and dry for me to say, hey, just definitely go out and actually talk to people. But again, it can be as shallow as actually saying that advice. But speaking on it on like a much steeper level, as each and every individual situation that deals with loneliness and depression can vary from person to person and person. As we all know, loneliness, depression, they do intertwine, and we know it can be very, very complex. I would definitely suggest to start off, definitely speak with a therapist of it if it actually gets that bad. If you're dealing with chronic loneliness, definitely speak with a psychiatrist or a therapist to mainly start off, and they'll be able to actually give you the proper views. But definitely find a therapist or psychiatrist that you can definitely relate to, that definitely does treat you well, that's within your area, that can definitely is in your network and your insurance. That's something to definitely start off. Right now, with that, there's so many opportunities that you're actually trying to go by to take advantage of to combat loneliness, and especially that's going on in like with modern day technology coming up, especially up in the world. It could be extremely useful for you to actually literally go out there and really make the effort to mainly talk to people, which can be a huge beneficial definitely to your livelihood. But definitely know your terrain, know your environment, know where you live, basically know the neighborhood that you're at, definitely know the mindset of people for sure, so that you'll be able to actually mainly defend yourself as well. You know what I'm saying? And I know there's some people that actually are suffering through PTSD through extreme traumatic situations up in their life, or even near-death experiences that may have prevented them from being out of the house. And definitely speaking with people given their unfortunate situations, those mainly play a factor as well. And to those who are actually making the start to actually go out and speak with people and actually make the strength to actually make it to a network event, or at least just go outside and just talk to somebody anywhere in a public spot. I truly commend you for making the effort to go outside and improving your social skills to mainly start off. Now the next step is, what can you do better? Now, how can you actually try to continue to pick up on the momentum on actually getting yourself more improved when it comes with communication, when it comes with building, networking, making friends, developing long-lasting relationships, knowing how to sniff interests in your significant other, whether it's in the opposite sex or same sex, however it is. Knowing how to build off that. Knowing that has actually built inner confidence within yourself. Knowing that you're actually trying to take, basically actually trying to tackle like any subject comes by in the social realm. You know what I'm saying? Academics realm is a different niche. Definitely, when it comes to finance, it's a different niche. They're all individual niches within themselves, but definitely mastering the social realm. It's definitely critical for you to mainly tackle society at large. And which is where I really want to actually try to hone in on at the end of the day. So, once again, definitely get yourself out there. If your loneliness is basically chronic, or if you're dealing with like a very deep depression, moral of the story is definitely speak with a therapist up in your area that you're actually very familiar with, or definitely very comfortable with as well. And I do support anyone that chooses to go to the mental health rats that deals with that is a professional that deals with psychological intervention, given someone's needs, or seeking advice from a psychiatrist or a mental health specialist that could actually literally combat loneliness, regardless of whether it's like some small loneliness or more so of a complex chronic loneliness that you may be having. All right, at least they'll be able to literally give you the strategies needed to really combat it, not just in the immediate term, but also in the long term. And I will leave it at that, ladies and gentlemen. Chris and Paul from the Nerd Chronicles is signing out. Deuces.